I accidentally shut my camera off. So this is part two of whatever this is. They love to rub their faces on all kinds of stuff, rocks, glass. You put them in a, if you do put them in a cage, which I couldn't bear to do at this point. I had them in a cage initially, but it's a big animal. You would need a really big cage, and they make a mess every day, if you know what I mean. It's a lot of cleaning dirt and replacing dirt, and a lot of work to do it that way. Believe it or not, having him free range, at least in my case, oh great, the lawn people are here. Oh, hope you don't hear that too bad. But anyway, he goes in the morning up to the door. I leave newspaper out, and just like a house trained pet, he does his business. I throw it away, and that's that. The rest of the day, he's just cool as a cucumber. He basks a lot, looks out the window, goes around my living room, basically the perimeter of where he's allowed to go. Sometimes he gets into my bedroom. I don't really like that, but he gets in there and he just patrols that as well. He's like a convict or a security guard, I say, because he's always going around the edges of everything. Like I say, he's really active for like 5-6 hours, and then he's off the clock, man. He's done. I never knew that about them when I got him. From what I read, they need 12 hours a day of these basking lights. He's not even awake for 6 hours, barely, much less 12. So I turn my lights off when he's done using them. If you have one of these, I recommend these type of lights with these type of housings. These are mercury vapor lights, and these housings are $25. You can put 2 lights in there. Each light's $50 basically. So you're looking at 125 for a lizard this size, and you replace them every 6 months if you don't have a meter, because you want to make sure he's getting the UV he needs. You can basically group the white throat in with the black throat and even the peach throat as basically the same type of care. They're monitor lizards. They're Varanus monitor lizards, and so they all basically the same, but different sizes. Those three. If you've got a lot of room, you can go with the black throat. If you have a big cage, and again, I'm not a fan of the cages. If you're going to have a cage, I would recommend having it outside. Again, they make a mess every day, and it's easy for me to clean up his mess because I just pick up a bunch of newspapers and paper towels that I lay down, throw them out once a morning. It takes me all of 30 seconds. But if he was inside of a cage and there was all dirt in there, like most people put in there, and he makes a very wet mess every day, okay, that's not going to smell well at all. Their waste is very unpleasant to smell, so you would want to get rid of it quick. Otherwise, your house will smell like a toilet real fast. I have these rocks here. These are coral rocks that he basks on, and it helps to keep the scales off him. You notice he doesn't really have any scales on him. He's not shedding at all, really. He might be at his higher end of size. I can't tell. He's young though. He's not sexually mature. He's 2 years old. Sexual maturity's reached around 3 years. If you can hear the weed eater out there, but he does. He doesn't like those kind of sounds, as you can see. It's not natural, and it's disturbing him. But it is what it is. Life disturbs us. What can we do? He likes sticking his head in these fake silk leaves I have up here. I have them to conceal the apparatus that's holding the lights up like this. He loves to stick his head in them. He's been going outside now for a couple of months. Lately, for a good hour at a time, I have him on a leash. And he kind of knows how far he can go. I can't really leave him. I don't even like leaving him when he's in my house for the time he's awake, because he has a knack, much like a toddler does, of doing just what you don't want him to do, just when you don't want him to do it. He seems to just gravitate toward being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I've had to, rescue him from hanging himself. He tangled in cords, hanging by his neck. Like, you'd be like, what? Climbs on top of the lights, and the lights, swivel. And had to catch him as he fell off I have a wooden dummy here, and he likes to climb it. So I put this rope on the wooden dummy. He climbs up it. And, but I like to be there because he's fell off it a couple of times. He's clumsy. And he's also, fearless. He's not afraid to stuff himself in all kinds of places and climb on top of everything and anything. They love to climb. If you're considering having one like this in your house, you definitely want to give him some things to climb on, because stimulation is important with reptiles. A lot of people don't realize that. They think, just stick him in a cage that's of the right size and give him some food and some water, and just, that's it. Like, you're done. And that you now have a pet. Okay. That's not good with these. You are going to be kind of hands-on no matter what you do. Not that you can't leave him alone, but if you have him in your house like I do, you don't want to leave him alone. If you can't be around when he's out, a cage is the only other option. Again, these things are not fun in a cage inside your house. Now, if you can build a cage outside your house, say a 10 by 10 or something similar, they can get to be 6 feet long. They're not small. I'm 6 feet. If you put me in a 10 by 10, very, very quickly after that, I would not like you very much. It's not a lot of room. It'll fit, but he won't like it, and then you'll have an animal that's unhappy and not satisfied, because believe me, they have emotions just like we do. They don't have complex thoughts, of course, but look where complex thoughts have gotten us. It hasn't really helped much. So, I can see in his eyes when he's happy, when he's sad, when he's mad, when he's satisfied, when he's worried. He has these looks, man, and it's all in the eyes, because everything else stays the same. And I guess the only way you get to know that is when you get to know him. Socializing. It's very important, because anything this big with teeth and claws and a tail that will swat you into next week if you're not paying attention, needs to be taken seriously and with respect. So socializing is showing him respect, because he's going to have to interact with you in a way that's not natural for him. You have to rewire his brain so that he no longer looks at you like a predator, right? Uh, and comes to see you as a an asset. He'll very soon, after a few months, it takes a while, develop something that you could say it'd be like an affection. I don't know if he's actually affectionate, but he sure looks that way. And I sure get a kick out of his antics. And he's so sweet. And, I like to pick him up. And he doesn't stay on my lap very long, though. He's not like a house cat. He'll let you pet him for a minute, but then he wants to get up and move. He either wants to be in maraud mode or sleep mode. He's not really gonna chill out very much. I thought he would, I thought when I got him he would be all chilling on a rock and looking out the window and sitting on my lap like a cat, and no. Constant movement or no movement at all. And yeah, he takes little breaks and stares out the window, and yeah, I could pick him up and pet him for a few seconds. But really he's in go mode. He's in the real world. He would be traversing a 15 square mile area. That's what he would hunt in, right? And he lives in very barren, rocky outcrops by the ocean. He's specifically from Mozambique, right? So he's from the east coast of Africa, and he's just looking gorgeous. He gets a lot of exercise, not only walking around my house and tearing the things in my house up, but he goes outside every day and gets the sun, and the real sun. And I don't have dirt in the house. I say, there's compromises, right? So instead of dirt, I've got all these rags and ropes and balls and towels and things for him to dig through. And he hasn't filed any complaints. I haven't heard anything from HR. He seems to like it. He buries himself in there. He digs around in there and buries himself, right? And then he goes to sleep, just like he would in dirt, minus the dirt. And when I do take him outside in the little garden I got out in the front there, landscaping, if you will, not so much a garden, but he digs through there. He gets his dig on in the real dirt, eats the little grubs and snails and stuff that are in the dirt. And sometimes I'm offended because I give him steak and eggs and he puts his nose up at it, and then he goes outside and eats things out of the dirt. What the hell are you eating? Are you eating a rock? Yeah, what? That doesn't say much for my cooking. Sometimes I cook his food. Sometimes I give it to him raw. He likes it both ways. I try to give him, different stuff all the time because he's an omnivore. He's like you and me. You don't want to eat the same thing every day. Now, when they're really little, they're big fan of eggs. I basically gave him mostly eggs when the first 6 months. They're scrambled eggs, right? Nothing raw, because the white part of the egg has a chemical in it that is not good for his digestion. I forget what it's called, but you want to cook your eggs before you give it to him. Little quail eggs, you don't necessarily have to cook those. They're really small. He used to do nothing but devour quail eggs. Now I can't even get him to eat them. His tastes have changed. And as he becomes sexually mature, I'm expecting his attitude to change. He might get a little aggressive again because the hormones are going to be pumping through him. They're not yet. He's still like a kid, He's a big kid though. He's gone past 4 feet now, and he's still going. I don't know how big he's going to get, but like I said earlier, his shedding seems to have stopped. He used to shed so much, and now he's just looking fantastic. He's big and juicy, and he's in great shape. Uh, Planning to take him to the vet soon. He's never been to the vet because he's always looked and acted great. I was worried about him one time, but whatever was bothering him, he got over it. So they get sick just like we do. I'm not a big fan of doctors, so if there's not anything wrong, I'm not in a rush to get him there. But I would like to have them do some blood work and take some x-rays just to make sure that he doesn't have any parasites or worms or anything like that. He shouldn't, but you never can tell 100%. I think he might be going down for the night. I think he's had enough of this camera in his face. And I think he's tired of being in the limelight. Back when I had a cage when he was little, it was basically a gigantic, the biggest one you could get of a clear plastic bin. It was like, I don't know, 100 and some gallon plastic bin. And about a week after he was in it, he figured out how to escape from it. That's when I realized he's got some skills. He's very smart. He's very strong. He literally was like jumping up, grabbing the edge, and doing pull-ups to get himself up there. And he's relentless. He doesn't give up. I wish I had more of his qualities, because when he wants something, when he has an idea in his head, he's absolutely relentless in the prosecution of his desires. He does not take no for an answer. He'd be a great used car salesman. Look at that face. Now he wants to lick my finger. I have zero fear of him because I've taken the time to let him have zero fear of me. And that's what it's all about. When you get them to no longer fear you because they've learned through experience, right, that you are their friend, that you are a companion, if you will, that has his best interest at heart. He'll notice that. And you'll see him go over time. It's not, overnight. You're basically rewiring millions of years of wiring, right? So in the wild, humans hunt these guys for their skins and their meat. And also when they're young, they are basically, a walking Slim Jim. Look at all that fat tail meat. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of things would like to get their hands and their claws and their teeth into him in the wild. Like I said, even humans. So he has no reason to be anybody's friend because everybody's shown him they're not worthy of his friendship. And now, you come along, I come along, and we want to be buddies. Well, you got some work to do, friend, because you have to take what he has and slowly but surely, right, turn that into something that he has no real use for, except in the case of you. Like, you are not going to be there if he escapes from your house, or you wind up selling him because you can't keep him or whatever. or it's a very specific relationship, and it takes time to foster it. You're not gonna socialize him to all humans, right? It's just gonna be to you. I think that's it for him. All right. I think he's down for the night, and it's like 11 o'clock, 11:30. So I think he's down.